Is the Yamaha V-star 1100 a good motorcycle? Yes, but it has a couple of annoying downsides that I need to tell you about, so stick around a few minutes. What's up everyone? It's Alex. So today we're going to be answering a viewer question from Reggie, and Reggie literally asked, what about the Yamaha V-star 1100? So Reggie, this one's for you. Real quick, if you dig the video, you like what I'm doing here, hit like and subscribe because it tells me what kind of stuff to keep making for you guys. Also real quick, it's very early in the morning when I'm shooting this video, so you guys are just going to have to put up with me and my coffee this morning. So the Yamaha V-star 1100. What you have with this thing is you have an 1100-ish cc air-cooled V-twin cruiser, straight cruiser, that Yamaha produced from about 1998 to about 2008, depending on where you are. Sometimes it went to 2009, but as a general rule, about 98 to about 09 or 08, depending on where you are. It's a pretty classic basic cruiser design with a 5-speed transmission and a final shaft drive that actually, all intents and purposes, is a really good middle size for most riders. It puts out enough power to keep you happy, not so much power that it's just crazy. It actually, in my experience riding them, tends to handle fairly well for just a straight traditional cruiser for what it is. The weight is not too bad, again, for what it is. And it tends to have an excellent track record of durability, reliability, etc., like you would expect from a Yamaha. Very, very popular motorcycle, designed specifically to be the big brother to the V-star 650 that's been so popular as a smaller segment cruiser for so long. In fact, most people that see the two motorcycles next to each other have a really, really hard time even identifying which one is which. The easiest cheat sheet for you, and the tip that I'll give you, if you're looking at V-star 650s and 1100s, the way to tell between the two of them, since they usually don't have any badging on them, they just say V-star, they don't tell you which one they are. The V-star 1100 will have dual front discs, whereas the V-star 650 will have single front discs. That's my cheater way of identifying them at first glance. There's more small differences, and there is a small size difference, but that's my easy way of identifying them. Now that we've got past what we're really looking at, here's the thing with the V-star 1100. The V-star 1100 is actually probably one of the best rounded, middle-ish sized cruisers I've ever seen as far as power delivery versus lightweight versus being easy and user-friendly. And most people that I've known that ride a V-star 1100 really, really like it. Like, it's a very, very nice, smooth handling, just enjoyable cruiser to ride. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. It's not the best handling thing in the world, but it's a good all-round cruiser to ride, okay? They also tend to be very, very reliable. I have seen multiple V-star 1100s just like its little brother, the 650. I've seen multiple of them with 80,000 plus miles on, no problem, just chugging right along, assuming you keep up your maintenance like you should. Which brings me to the two big annoying downsides to the V-star 1100 that you need to know about. It can be an awesome motorcycle to own, and it can be a forever motorcycle for a lot of people, but there's two very, very big annoying downsides maintenance-wise that you need to be aware of with a V-star 1100 if you intend to own one or look for one. First off, for some reason the V-star 1100 calls for a valve check and adjustment at every single 4,000 mile service interval. So in theory, if you're doing things properly, whether you're doing your own maintenance or having someone else do it, in theory you are supposed to at least check the valves at every single service. In the modern day and age, that's getting a little bit ridiculous and a little bit annoying. Now, caveat to that, most of the time that I've dealt with V-star 1100s, those valve checks end up being just that. It's just a check. Usually the valves are not out of adjustment. Usually they do not need adjustment at every single service. But it is fairly annoying that Yamaha, one of my favorite engineering and motorcycle designing companies on the planet, who designed and made at least half the motorcycles I have owned, for some reason designed the damn thing to where it needs a valve check at every single service. The second massive annoying downside to a V-star 1100, to me the bigger deal between the two of them, is how Yamaha designed the oil filter and where they decided to put it in conjunction with the pipes. The V-star 1100 in stock form, unmodified, requires that you remove the entire exhaust system to do an oil filter change. This is a big, big annoying design flaw by Yamaha in my mind. So basically, anytime you change the oil on a V-star 1100, stock anyway, unmodified, you have to remove the exhaust pipes to get to the oil filter. This is not difficult to do, but it adds a lot of time and energy to the oil filter change that should be a 30-minute process. So if you're going to work on it yourself, that means you have to take the additional time and effort to remove your exhaust system to do an oil filter change every time you change your oil. If you're going to take it to someone else, that means it gets rather expensive because then they have to spend the time removing the exhaust system, so you're going to spend for that extra labor time. I think the actual shop manual calls for like a 3 or 4 hour service to get the oil filter changed. It's not actually going to take that long, but you get the idea. It's a really, really weird, annoying design oversight on Yamaha's part. I mean, the rest of the motorcycle works great and is super reliable, but you know, having to remove your exhaust to change your oil every time it's kind of a really weird design choice for them to make, don't you think? I think for some reason when they were designing this thing, like the team working on the engine over here and the team over here working on the chassis and everything else, just like didn't talk at all or anything, or maybe they designed the whole thing and then the exhaust was a complete afterthought, so someone who had nothing to do with designing the engine or the engine layout just threw the exhaust on there and didn't know what was going on with it. But in any case, yes, big flaw with the V-Star 1100, you have to remove the exhaust, change the oil. But I will say there are aftermarket oil filter relocation kits out there that you can get that I've had a lot of different people have very good success with to relocate the oil filter, so you won't have to do that. So if you intend to get a V-Star 1100, just be aware of the fact that every service it is going to call for at least a valve check, and you either need to look for one that someone's already done the oil filter relocation kit, or I think that you yourself need to have the oil filter relocation done or do that in order to simplify your oil changes so you're not spending several hours on every single oil change. Other than that, they made them for a long time. They're out there everywhere used. They're usually very inexpensive. I've seen very, very, very nice V-Star 1100s for $2,000 or less, you know. It's also a really, really good project bike because it's a really, really good platform for turning into a bobber, actually. It and the 650. As a matter of fact, hang on, let's take a field trip for a second. You guys see that? That's how cool V-Star 1100s and 650s can look if you want to do some customizing to them. So all in all, the V-Star 1100 is a very, very good mid-size metric cruiser, very well-rounded, very reliable, almost bulletproof machine. Will give a cruiser rider a lot of enjoyment for the money used. Really, really can't recommend it more than that for the value used. You just need to be aware that it has a couple of annoying maintenance items like I outlined, and if you're going to get one, I think you either need to look for a used one where someone has already done the oil filter relocation, or you need to budget for getting that kit and having that done or doing that yourself, okay? Reggie, I hope that answered the question. I hope you guys have a great day. Ride safe. I'm Alex. Peace.